Boom. Target down. Nice shot, mate. Got him.
Call of Duty as a franchise is usually an absurd power fantasy. In reality, you as a soldier are not going to confirm hundreds of KIAs in the span of a week while your comrades can't hit the broadside of a barn. The games are designed to challenge you, the player. Even if that means making your AI compatriots challenge your patience. However, there are 3 missions in the franchise which semi-accurately portray the power that a single soldier can wield. From Call of Duty 4, we have all Ghillied Up and one shot, one kill. And in World at War, we have Vendetta. These missions have many similarities. You're in a 2-man team, you avoid the enemy and only shoot when you have to, you're using precision rifles, and your objective is to neutralize a member of the enemy leadership. In short, these missions demonstrate the power
Excellent aim
of the sniper.
You are a natural hunter.
Sniping has existed in combat for hundreds of years, long before firearms were invented or the term sniper even existed. Sniper came from the verb to snipe in the 1770s, referring to the practice of shooting snipes, which were birds that flew in a bizarre pattern and had to be carefully approached by hunters, thus requiring these snipers to be stealthy and skilled with a rifle. For a working definition of sniper, I'd like to use how it was defined by the United States War Department Basic Field Manual in 1944. This defines the sniper as an expert rifleman, well qualified in scouting, whose duty it is to pick off enemy personnel who expose themselves. By eliminating leaders and harassing troops, sniping softens the enemy's resistance and weakens his morale. This definition much better fits the actions taken in these Call of Duty missions. And while they fail at some aspects of realism, they do accurately portray the versatility of individuals referred to as scout snipers. Let's start chronologically in 1942 with Vendetta. For historical context, this is after the failure of Operation Barbarossa, which was Germany's attempt at blitzing the Soviets, hoping for a fast surrender. However, the USSR endured, so Hitler sought to capture Stalingrad to gain control of the Volga River and the oil fields in the Caucasus region. Vendetta starts as follows. You awake, injured in a fountain in Stalingrad's Red Square. You lay there playing dead as you watch your comrades get ruthlessly executed. When you can safely move again, an injured sniper from your unit, Viktor Reznov, has you take on his role due to his injuries. He explains that you must eliminate Commander Heinrich Amsel, something he's been trying to do for days.
Modak in the car is General Heinrich Amsel, architect of Stalingrad's misery. For 3 days, I have hunted him. For 3 days, luck alone has saved his wretched life.
Throughout this mission, Reznov waxes lyrical about the finer points of being a sniper. Gary Oldman may be going a little over the top here, but
Sniping your enemy is like hunting any other animal. Fire at the wrong moment and your chance will be forever lost. Patience. If we reveal our position to Amsel's men, this fountain will be our grave. Knowing the routines and movements of your prey tips the balance of a hunt. General Amsel is a creature of habit. He inspects each German garrison every day.
These are all general principles of sniping, or really any intelligence gathering operation involving a person. Pattern of life must be established, and knowing where and when to fire your weapon means taking the life of your target and escaping with your own.
Sniper! Get inside now!
Soviet snipers during this period were used for long-range suppressing fire and for taking out targets of opportunity, namely officers, since they are difficult to replace and cause great disruption in enemy communications and battle planning. This mission certainly has a flair for the dramatic. You get into a sniper battle, evade some patrols, and nearly get burned alive.
What is the point of all those push-ups if you can't even lift a bloody log?
You tag up with fellow Soviets to conduct urban warfare. The first of its kind, by the way. Then you and Reznov find a good sniping position and finally eliminate Amsel. And if you were a true gamer, you did it with a pistol.
Kill him! you are a true mark!
Is the mission realistic? Well, it depends what you mean by realistic. Is a sniper going to experience these events within the span of 20 minutes? Probably not. Is it likely a sniper would see all these events occur over their career? Maybe. So, if you consider Vendetta a condensed version of what a sniper could see in World War II, then it does its job. The Mosin Nagant rifle may be known affectionately throughout the gun community as a garbage rod, but if it takes out your commanding officer as he's giving orders to you, you'd be terrified all the same. Considering the Soviet Union's frequent use of snipers in World War II, I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they were heavily utilized for a reason. The only possible inaccuracy as far as I'm concerned is that the Soviet Union actually had around 2,500 female snipers in World War II, being the only country to do so at the time. So maybe Reznov should have been a woman? I'm kidding, of course. Gary Oldman's over-the-top Russian accent is just a national treasure.
Mark my words, comrade. One day things would change. We would take the fight to their land, to their people, to their blood.
What does bother me a bit is Private Petrenko being a perfect sniper despite having no training. But you know, the engagement distances in this mission aren't too far. Maybe we need to talk about a more hardcore sniping mission.
The wind's getting a bit choppy. You can compensate for it, or you can wait it out. But he might leave before it dies down. That's your call. Remember what I taught you. Keep in mind variable humidity and wind speed along the body's flight path. At this distance, you'll also have to take the Coriolis effect into account.
Jumping forward to Call of Duty 4's universe, the year is now 1996. According to Price, this is the first time the British government had authorized an assassination since World War II. This is possibly a reference to Operation Anthropoid, a collaboration between Czech rebels and the British government to assassinate Reinhard Heydrich, aka the Butcher of Prague. This plan was successful, and remains the only verified government-sponsored assassination of a senior Nazi leader during World War II. Tragically, it wasn't done by a sniper, it was more like... In 1996, the Soviet Union no longer exists. Ukraine is its own independent country, and post-1994, when it gave up its nuclear weapons for security guarantees, its closest official allies were the United States, the United Kingdom, and technically the Russian Federation, but it's a very, tense relationship.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
Given this, it would be quite brazen of the UK to send in a sniper team without some kind of official permission from the Ukrainian government. Otherwise, if they got caught, the political optics here are actually quite insane. Anyways, I'm getting sidetracked. In this mission, you and Captain Macmillan are using stealth, both the sneaky and lethal varieties, to assassinate Imran Zakayev, a political radical who seeks to restore Russia's former glory, no matter the cost. Even if it meant going to Pripyat to pick up the scraps from the Soviet Union's second worst mistake.
Chernobyl, Christmas for the bad guys. Even a decade later, a lot of them still used it to get their hands on nuclear material.
For the curious, the Soviet Union's worst mistake was existing. The most unrealistic thing about this mission, in my opinion, is this moment.
Let's go.
You'd be forgiven if you thought the most ridiculous part is when you're crawling past a whole company of soldiers. And to that, let me introduce you to Carlos Hathcock. Hathcock was the US's best sniper during the Vietnam War, and arguably of all time. While he had quite a few legendary stories, his most daring involved him crawling inches at a time for 4 days to take out an NVA general. He stated that patrols got within arm's reach of him as his self-made ghillie suit kept him concealed in grass until he completed his mission. I'd be willing to guess that this and other Hathcock stories inspired all Ghillied Up in One Shot, One Kill, such as the time when he and his spotter took out an entire company of NVA soldiers, or when he used a custom M2 Browning with a scope to snipe an NVA scout almost 1.5 miles away. Anyways, are the Modern Warfare missions more over the top than World at War? Yeah, but I personally prefer them for replay value. It's hard to beat the atmosphere of Pripyat.
Look at this place. 50,000 people used to live in the city. Now it's a ghost town. Never seen anything like it.
Also, I mean, come on. Barrett 50 cal.
Watch for any change in one direction.
I love that in Modern Warfare 3, we see the perspective from the ground as the shots come in. All the soldiers just scattering in panic perfectly portrays the imposing power of 2 dudes laying prone 1/2 mile away with some spicy bullets. Anyways, these missions are some of my favorite in the Call of Duty franchise, and were my gateway into the appreciation I now have for the talent and effectiveness of scout snipers. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you in the next one.